On stage, we're talking all things red meat and innovations that producers have got access to in the here and now that are going to improve your operations and business. And I'm joined by two excellent presenters today. We're joined by Max Laurie from Optiweigh and Mr. Darren Price from AgScent. Darren, I might start with you if I may, please. Could you give us a bit of a snapshot when we're looking at AgScent? What does AgScent get up to in the Agtech marketplace?
Thanks, Justin. Hi, everyone. So, look, AgScent is a biotechnology company. We principally use diagnostics from breath for pregnancy, disease, and greenhouse gas analysis. Now,
Max, Optiweigh as a brand, it's no stranger. You guys have got those beautiful blue machines, although if you head north, occasionally you might see a maroon one. But for anyone who hasn't seen an Optiweigh before, what does Optiweigh get up to in the marketplace?
G'day, everyone. I guess more or less what we're dealing with is an in-paddock weighing device that's measuring an animal's weight out in the paddock. And that just takes the front feet weight, scans the tag, and then comes back into our system and converts that as a full body weight. Obviously, the beauty that we've been able to do is we're able to bring an animal to a point and be able to measure it. And then I guess hence that's where our relationship with AgScent has started as well. We're fundamentally able to get an animal to come and stand at a point, and now it's just a matter of what else can we measure other than weight as well.
Yeah, that leads perfectly into my next question. I was going to say, Optiweigh and AgScent together have produced a really unique collaboration within the red meat sector, and it's a phenomenal opportunity for our red meat producers. I might throw to you, Darren. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's a great partnership, AgScent and Optiweigh working together. It's often, the outcomes of a single device or sensor is wonderful, but start stacking them together, you get some really powerful outcomes. And so this is a great example of stack technologies working together. It's been a great partnership.
Now, when we are looking at the AgScent piece of the puzzle, obviously Max has mentioned the weight capabilities of the Optiweigh, but you've mentioned a few different facets within the AgScent stable. Is there one key facet that you're looking at pairing weight with at the moment?
Yeah, so we've certainly been concentrating on greenhouse gas emissions, principally methane and CO2, and that's what we are joining with Optiweigh to deliver that. So while the animal's in there having a feed at the Optiweigh and being measured, as Max said, we're also picking up methane and CO2 emissions as they stand there and have a feed and eruptate or burp.
Now, I'll throw a question to both of you. We're talking all things smart tech and the benefits for the red meat sector. We're seeing obviously a phenomenal opportunity here in not just monitoring the weight, but also the methane production of livestock. This is going to go a long way to benefiting producers. It's not just going to be methane stats and data or weight stats and data. You can actually it presents a whole new opportunity for basically breeding them better and stronger almost in many ways.
Yeah, so methane emissions are a lack of productivity. Really, it's understanding that there's plenty of metrics around building an understanding of the genetic output of an animal. Methane's a heritable trait, so you can start selecting for those things. You're able to put a baseline around your herd, understand your high emitters or your low emitters. So you may wish to build a culling program around that at some point should the opportunity arise. There's potential to measure the effects of methane inhibitor supplements, seeing if that's actually working or not working in your system with your cattle on your pastures. But even at a base level, just understanding how that's affecting the production of your system on your paddock.
Now, Max, when it comes to the partnership of as we said, Optiweigh offers a really integral part of monitoring livestock in paddock, and combined with the metric of AgScent with the methane work. You're mentioning earlier today, though, it's not just obviously, principally, we are generating a weight and also a methane value for our stock, but in tandem, the application of in-paddock weighing as a whole offers a lot more than just picking up 2 data metrics.
Yeah, I think fundamentally that's right. I think the ability to, which Darren touched on, to pull all the data together and actually pull something meaningful out of it. And like when you look at it on a genetic level, in terms of the stud game or everything like that as well, I think where we're seeing more and more, we're being asked to measure what we are producing, and methane is a part of that. And at the end of the day, methane is something we can lower. It's not something we can necessarily lower in terms of our emissions with our tractors, our trucks, our quads, our everything like that as well. It's something we have to work towards. And I think fundamentally the beauty of what we're doing is that we are working towards that, even if the industry hasn't fully recognised that as of yet. We're at the start of it, we're at the forefront of it, and that was the whole idea. We're 2 businesses that are at the forefront of that. We are with in-paddock weighing as well. These guys are with their breath analysis and everything they're doing as well. And the whole idea is we're pulling that together so that we're at the forefront of that methane, of that weight collection, because fundamentally that is something we are going to be paying for at some stage as producers, whether we like it or not. I'm a firm believer in that.
Now, I'll throw to both of you for this. We'll put our blue sky thinking hats on here, and obviously we're seeing a phenomenal partnership here in the space of taking a product of principally offering in-paddock weighing, and we find the extension. I know the previous methods of measuring methane in cattle were either on I generally centred around an individual basis, but I've seen collars, I've seen cattle that have been they've had to be in a basically a laboratory setting almost to be able to collect it. And now we're seeing on methane captured or methane scores at a paddock level, let's say, that doesn't require individual specific equipment. But we've seen obviously a huge advance there. But if we look at it in terms of blue sky opportunity, what do you think is the next generation? Where do methane is today, and what's tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, the sky is the limit. I mean, it's multi-species. Anything that'll enter a Optiweigh can be measured both for weight individually, but for what we can measure today. So that's exciting, and Optiweigh have got their new sheep version on display here at Henty, which is a real credit to them as well. So there's those sort of things. I think down the pipeline with AgScent, we're certainly considering disease and those sort of situations as well. And there's no reason that ultimately we couldn't be picking up those metrics from the breath as well. We are doing it through breath, so that stands to reason we can do that through something like an Optiweigh as well. So I think it's exciting times. It's really finding that solid use case and value proposition for producers too. So we look to the industry to tell us what they really want as well. So that's an important thing as well.
Yeah, you touched on that well. I think you fundamentally, like we can see so often with the data we capture, in terms of we can tell if there's an animal health issue that's potentially arisen, because we can see that the animal's dropped away in weight. But we don't necessarily have the answer why. So often that is the story that we have. We say, right, well, there's obviously a problem. We don't necessarily have the answer for you today. All of a sudden you have a device that's able to measure or what disease it is, or anything else that could be potentially picked up in the breath. And they're only touching on the surface now. Like it just really, it all of a sudden it becomes a tool that finds a problem, but also analyses what the problem is. So you don't have to guess what it is you're having to fix at the other end. And fundamentally that could absolutely change the way that we are dealing with livestock in agriculture.
I mean, I think I'd add to that, and you're seeing a change in weight well before the human eye can see that. And that is where our technology can also work in that preemptive, diagnosis. So, yeah, really exciting. Now,
I'll ask you both a question that I'm really keen to get. Not just I've spoke to a group of producers the other day, and got some incredible answers from producers, but I'm really keen to hear from some of our device manufacturers. We talk about peace of mind in the agricultural industry, and certainly in the red meat sector, peace of mind is something that is integral to both a healthy and I'll say a profitable farming operation. How, and by all means, speak individually or as a collaboration as well, how are your respective devices helping promote peace of mind within our producers?
I think, so for, I guess, as a standalone product, I think Optiweigh obviously has the capability in terms of knowing what animals you have ready for spec at a given time. Yeah, being able to step into an opportunity you mightn't have been able to step into, where you may have had to wait a week or two before you knew what those animals weighed. You were able to just capture that because you already had it there. I think that's something in its own right. I think the fact that it's able to measure that animals are actually on an upward plane continuously, or even when you're feeding that they're on a continuous plane and they're not losing weight. I think that peace of mind in those situations is important as well. But I think as like a collaboration, like going forward, I think being able to actually know what the metric of your farm is, and to be actually know what your livestock are producing and emitting, because we all talk about the baseline that we know that we deal with, but we fundamentally, it's a baseline. We don't know that that's what our farm necessarily emits. We may already have low emitters, we may have high emitters, and unless we're able to measure for that and know about it now, we can't take that step forward and improve that. And I think fundamentally as a collaborative, I think that's a massive thing.
Fantastic. And Darren?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything there, and I think peace of mind that individually AgScent can provide is that quality data, the accuracy. It's backed by science and some really high tech sensors. So there's that building of confidence, and through that you're getting peace of mind as well. But being able to do that in a paddock setting with a partnership like this just adds to that.
And I think you both have touched on some incredible aspects and elements there, particularly in a collaboration perspective, as we see we're dealing with something that is extremely topical in nature, that's discussed quite heavily and quite regularly. And I think certainly for peace of mind for a producer, the collaboration between Optiweigh and AgScent is giving producers the opportunity to not just be profitable and progressive in their industry, but also, as you both rightly said, it's backed by data, and we speak along the lines of, with any of our producers, is that you don't know what you don't have, and to be able to accurately measure both of those elements and aspects coming together in a great confluence of collaboration, it's wonderful to see. When we're talking devices, and if we cross back to the AgScent and Optiweigh devices, when we're talking devices and getting that information to producers, how does it work? Does it have a specific range of connectivity, or is how does each respective device work, or is it on one shared pathway?
Originally, they went down two different avenues in terms of the processing of them. I remember that we had our weights went through one platform, and we had to push our AgScent stuff through a different, separate, connectivity solution, just with the complexity of the data and the high volume of data that was coming out of the AgScent. So my understanding is we've just about finished our newest version of our electronics in at the shop, or in at the workshop, I should say, and that'll actually have the capability to process that data now, which I think I'm right about that, aren't I?
Yeah. And in terms of displaying data, like lots of different technology companies, we have the ability to display that individually or with our partners. So it's working really well from that perspective. Yeah.
Let's just keep chatting about that in terms of now, as an Optiweigh user myself, within our program, we love getting our 3 a.m. email, because I tell you what, it's a moment of joy when we get to see how many of our livestock have used the unit. Within each program, it's just information's displayed on a combined dashboard or bespoke individual product. How do producers go about sort of seeing their metrics and reviewing that data?
Yeah, either or, but it obviously works well if it's through the one dashboard, so that's good. And there's a way of dealing with those 3 a.m. emails too, if you need to know that too.
I check it at 8 a.m, but it's good when it comes in at 3 a.m because like I said, we get a bit competitive in the office when we see units starting to get weights. Well, it's absolutely been absolutely wonderful, and thank you both very much. And we look forward to seeing the next generation. We've seen the now, which has been the collaboration between Optiweigh and AgScent, but we look forward to equally seeing as much in the future. But thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Justin.